Joining me now, Mollie Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist, and Ben Domenech, editor-at-large of The Spectator. Both are Fox News contributors. Marty, they act like the Republicans are the fascists when they're the ones who are married to these plutocrats who are exercising, it appears to be, all the power within the party, regardless of what the people want.
Right. You also hear the consensus in Washington, D.C. is that Republicans are very divided. They're actually not divided. They're pretty unified on policy, at least among the voters. But you look at the difference between the Democrat elite, the ruling regime, and their voters. They have strong division. The Democrat leaders love having someone like Joe Biden. He's able to implement all of their goals. The people who run the agencies are getting to accomplish, who are very radical, to be honest. They get to implement all of what they want, but they are losing these voters. They're losing not just white working class voters, but also black working class voters, and it's a real opportunity here.
Well, KJP was asked about this problem that the Democrat voters have with Biden today, about his age and so forth. This is what she said.
Look, here's what I know. Here's what I can speak to. I can speak to that a president who has wisdom. I can speak to a president who has experience. I can speak to a president who has done has taken historic action and has delivered in historic pieces of legislation. And that's important.
Exploding budget deficit we just learned about. Well, inflation's back.
I just love that KJP had to read that list.
Oh, she did have to read that. It wasn't a very good list. Can you memorize that?
Not even a very good list. Look, the real problem that they're facing right now is that Joe Biden's numbers among working class voters, non-college educated voters, are now looking more and more similar to Democrat numbers among white working class non-college voters. And that's something that's very dangerous for them. And the reason is it hurts them in particular areas in our political map in ways that are almost impossible to recover from. If your coalition becomes a bunch of white elites and college kids, then you're not going to be able to have the kind of coalition that Joe Biden was able to form in the past, and you're not going to be able to see the kind of down ballot results that Democrats need to be able to hold things like the Senate. They are losing working class, Hispanic, black, and Asian voters in a way that it should be stunning to the party elites, and the New York Times admitting that tells you how far gone this is.
That was wild. And Mollie, I think this opens the door in such a wide way for the Republicans to walk right through and say, this is what they've done to your cities, your schools, your country. Is this really the horse that you want to ride in on in 2024 for another 4 years? I think it's a huge opening.
Well, to that end, in 2020, you had a campaign where Joe Biden was able to have the media help him across the finish line. He now has a track record, and voters are saying that they're not particularly pleased with that. There was that recent Wall Street Journal poll that showed that voters give Trump, the Trump presidency, much higher marks in terms of what was accomplished than the Biden presidency, that they think Trump has a vision for the future that Biden just doesn't have. And so those policies that people liked under the Trump administration, which you see so many people so many Republican politicians adopting, they do provide a huge opopportunity for some of these voters. But they're
sticking. It's like the Republicans are sticking with McConnell and the Republican elite, and the establishment of the Democrat Party. They have a death grip on Biden. I mean, they will not let him go. Even if he wanted to quit, I think they wouldn't let him quit.
We need age limits. We need term limits. We need new changes. We need new leadership in the country. And frankly, the people the problem for the White House trying to spin this Joe Biden presidency in the way that they have the problem for Karine Jean-Pierre, we get visuals every single week of how out of it he is, how out of touch he is, how he turns into this sort of wandering, character as soon as he's done reading his script.
But new statistics, facts about the economy. It's a disaster.
Yes.
I mean, they said we were coming out of the inflation. Inflation's ticked back up.
And it hurts the working class the most.
Yeah, the most. Mollie, there was a moment with Peter Doocy and Karine Jean-Pierre today about the other issue that we talked about for 2.5 years, which was COVID, because the first lady, the first lady is tested positive for COVID, and the president had pledged that he was always going to be masking now because obviously he was in close proximity. Check it out.
We saw President Biden entering an event today in a mask. Here's some of the video because White House officials tell us he's going to do that after being exposed to the COVID-positive First Lady. No mask in this other video as he was leaving that event. Not sure why he would need one to go in that exact way, but not to leave.
Yeah, that was a report, not a back and forth. But I mean, is that hilarious? I guess the Medal of Honor recipient, the mask, he doesn't need the mask, but everybody else. I mean, this whole thing, we all know that this mask thing is a complete joke, and it's just virtue signaling.
You were seeing quite a few Democrat leaders, not just in the White House, but also at the state and local levels, trying to reinstitute mask mandates, even with all of the evidence that mask mandates don't work, or other types of shutdowns. This is something that will not play for Democrats in 2024 the way it played for them in 2020.
I'm tired of sequels, both from Hollywood and from our leadership. I'm done with this. It's over. We have to move on. Let's be serious about this. This is a joke.
I saw two people in a New England state over the past weekend biking outdoors with what looked like the N95 masks.
They're bringing it back. They're bringing it back.
I cleared a wide berth for that. I don't want them veering toward me in any way. Ben and Mollie, great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.